I chose this poem because one of my elementary school teachers introduced me to poetry, and she was a big fan of love, romantic poetry type. And when I found this poem, I just really liked it. Porque te tengo y no, porque te pienso, porque la noche está de ojos abiertos, porque la noche pasa y digo amor, porque has venido a recoger tu imagen y eres mejor que todas tus imágenes, porque eres linda desde el pie hasta el alma, porque eres buena desde el alma a mí, porque te escondes dulce en el orgullo, pequeña y dulce corazón coraza, porque eres mía, porque no eres mía, porque te miro y muero, y peor que muero, si no te miro, amor, si no te miro, porque tú siempre existes donde quiera, porque existes mejor donde te quiero, porque tu boca es sangre y tienes frío. Tengo que amarte, amor, tengo que amarte, aunque esta herida duela como dos, aunque te busque y no te encuentre, y aunque la noche pase y yo te tenga y no.
Our next poem is, it's a Japanese poem, and it was just submitted yesterday afternoon, I think, and luckily I had not finalized the programs and had the copies made, so it ended up in the program. So our next poem is going to be read by, and I can't, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I will read two Japanese old poems from Manyoshu and Hyakunin Isshu. Manyoshu and Hyakunin Isshu are a selection of old poems, and especially Manyoshu is from over 1,000 years ago. I hope that you can imagine Japanese old beautiful sight. 春過ぎて夏木にけらし白田への衣干し町天の角山青によし奈良の都は奈良の都は咲く花の匂うがごとく今盛りなり Thank you.
And really, no one needs to apologize if you make a mistake. Just keep going. Chances are, we won't even notice your mistake. I'm nervous up here just introducing people, so I understand that you're nervous too. The next poem, I think it's another one of our original poems that was submitted, and I think we're having two people read it, unless I misunderstood the message. Mohammed and Mihiro Shimomura. Yes? Okay. And I believe that the two of you are both studying German? Yes. Okay. And so they're going to read this original poem that Mihiro wrote together. Is that correct? You are the poet. Oh, you did both write it. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't give you credit then. I knew that you both were reading it, but it wasn't clear to me that you both wrote it. So the two poets will read their poem.
This poem is about America. It describes the typical image that international students have about this country and its people. America is really different from other countries, and this is the main reason why we decided to write about it. Natürlich.
Natürlich groß.
Natürlich Auto.
Natürlich Ausweis.
Natürlich Eil.
Natürlich beiläufig.
Natürlich Party.
Natürlich Geld.
Natürlich teuer.
Natürlich Trinkgeld.
Natürlich Schnellgerichte.
Natürlich süß.
Natürlich Amerika. Danke.
Thank you. And there we go. I'm going to take advantage of this moment to move things around. The next poem is La Souffrance. This is our first French poem and the one that I'm completely sure that I will pronounce correctly. And I wonder if the person reading it is here. Mariam, I think is Miriam. Ah, there you are. I was looking, everybody else was over here, and so I didn't expect you to come out of nowhere here. So Miriam is going to read La Souffrance to us, and take it away, Miriam.
This poem was was written by Maya Palm, an African lady who became very famous for her great sense of poetry. I've been particularly interested in this poem, Suffering, because I found it very close to my realities, and the life I live here in the United States. La souffrance. Pourquoi chaque être est-il obligé de souffrir? Pourquoi je souffre de l'absence d'une personne? Pourquoi tu souffres de la présence d'une personne? Pourquoi il souffre d'une chose inutile? Pourquoi nous souffrons de notre société? Souffrir, c'est peut-être se sentir bizarre une fois dans la vie. Est-ce une bonne définition? À quoi ça sert de toujours souffrir dans la vie? Je vous en prie, dites-moi. Je vous le demande car je ne le sais pas. La souffrance détruit le cœur des êtres qui étaient heureux. La souffrance est une actrice très maligne. Elle chante, elle hante les cœurs des amoureux sans frapper à la porte. Nul ne l'a invitée à briser les cœurs heureux. Souffrir. Pourquoi? 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 Thank you.
Our next presenter is Kylie Gould, and she's going to present a poem called An den Winter.
Hello, my name is Kylie, and December is only a few more days away. We are in the beginning of a winter season, and I decided why not welcome it with a winter poem. An den Winter is one of many poems written by Elizabeth Kuhlman, who tragically died at age 18. An den Winter. Willkommen, lieber Winter. Willkommen hier zu Land. Wie reich du bist. Mit Perlen spielst du, als wär es Sand. Den Hof des Gartenswege hast du damit bestrut, sie an der Baume Zeige, zu tausenden gereiht. Dein Odem, lieber Winter, ist kälter doch gesund, den Sturm nur halt im Sommer, sonst macht es so bunt.
Really want to learn German, get to read the next one. The next poem is from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Sam Engel is going to read it, and the name is Ich denke dein.
Okay, so Johann Wolfgang von Goethe had many talents. He was a German poet, playwright, novelist, scientist, and theater director, and also an artist. He's widely considered one of the greatest German literary figures of the modern era. Some would even compare him to Shakespeare. Ich denke dein is a love poem that describes the writer's thoughts of his significant other while observing the beauty of nature. The vivid language used to describe the scenes paints a beautiful picture for the reader, and throughout the poem, he talks about how he wishes his loved one was there with him. I chose this poem because I liked how Goethe uses very vivid scenes in nature to create a feeling in the reader. So, Ich denke dein. Ich denke dein, wenn mir der Sonnenschimmer vom Meer strahlt. Ich denke dein, wenn sich des Mondes Flimmer in Quellen malt. Ich sehe dich, wenn auf dem fernen Wege der Staub sich hebt. In tiefer Nacht, wenn auf dem schmalen Stege der Wanderer bebt. Ich höre dich, wenn dort mit dumpfen Rauschen die Welle steigt. Im stillen Haine gehe ich auf zu lauschen, wenn alles schweigt. Ich bin bei dir, du siehst auch noch so ferne. Du bist mir nah. Die Sonne sinkt, bald leuchten mir die Sterne. Oh, warst du da?
We have, there we go, I didn't wait. Next we have another one of our original compositions by Madeline Muatka, and she had definitely a lot more poetic energy than I would probably have. I was impressed by the length of this original poem, so I can't wait to hear it, and I hope you enjoy it too.
Okay, so as you said, this is an original poem, and it's done in a surrealist style, which is defined as a punctum in traditional poetry, and it kind of redefines the connotation of ordinary and transforms its classifications. And I chose this style because of the liberties and freedoms it offers to me as an artist. And actually, the photo I chose, it says libertad de expresión, which is freedom de expression, which I feel is an important tenet of the surrealist style. ¿Qué eres? Yo soy una iglesia, dándote un lugar en el que puedes inhalar cerveza para inspirar. Un trago libera las mariposas de tu mente. Los santos y Dios rezan a 9 musas. Calliope, Cleo. Mi cuerpo desnuda te silba y las ventanas en tu cara parpadean. Mi mano canta por mi perrito perdido en el valor. Las nubes están por sudar hilos de seda, maquillando mi alma, construyendo mi tristeza. Mis labios un amarilla brillante, como si recién el sol me hubiera besado con su debilidad, y me doblas en tu fragilidad. Nació de tu manifiesto, errato, era terpe. Mi puerta está cerrada con un golpe de la vanidad. Un tigre apuñala mis 2 corazones con tijeras, uno para mí y otro para ti. Mi perrito está riendo con las golondrinas, los tragos de la muerte. Me muero por ti, mi animal desdichado. Mi corazón está sangrando un río de miel, mi dedo sin edificio, mi dedo sin salsa de tomate en el arroyo de las abejas. Pero las orquídeas suspiran y florecen, endulzadas en el licor de mi bautismo en la presencia de una erafa, melpomene polimnia. Mis uñas adornando tu gloria, me pones en tu bolsilla con tu miedo de tu madre, hermana e hija, Talia, terpsicore y urania. Las felices de mi sustento de vida marcan tus pasos, ale, an, o, se, de mí. Yo soy un barrio, dándote un lugar en el que puedes rezar.
Next, we have a poem by Joachim Ringelnatz. And Colton Corcoran is going to read it, and I am just taking so much fun reading the titles in German, so Die Briefmarke. Danke.
Hello, the poem I will read today is Die Briefmarke, or the post stamp from Joachim Ringelnatz, written in 1924. Joachim Ringelnatz was a World War I veteran and then turned into a drawer, painter, and most importantly, a satirical writer and stand-up comedian. I chose this poem because during that time of history, it was kind of dark and kind of depressing. So I chose this one because it's a little lighter and lighthearted. So Die Briefmarke. Ein männlicher Briefmarke erlebte was Schönes, bevor klebte. War von einer Prinzessin belegt, da war die Liebe in ihm erweckt. Wollte sie wieder küssen, doch hat verreisen müssen. So liebte sie vergebens, das ist die Tragik des Lebens.
Our next person who's going to read is Kisuk Song, who's going to read one of our, I think, 3 different poems in Korean. We had 3 different submissions in Korean, which was great, because I know we have several Korean students on campus, but we haven't always had a lot of them at the poetry recital, so that's wonderful.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ki-seok Sung. I'm from South Korea, and I'm going to recite a Korean poem which I was written a long time ago. It's quite short, but it contains a strong meaning. To refer about the poet before reciting the poem, this poet's family was extremely poor. However, he was optimistic and positive. He's satisfied with his life by praising the nature. This had written right before he died. Therefore, this is the latest work for him. So, hope you enjoy. 귀천, 나 하늘로 돌아가리라. 새벽빛 와닿으면 쓰러지는 이슬 더불어 손에 손을 잡고 나 하늘로 돌아가리라. 노을빛 함께 단둘이서 기슭에서 놀다가 구름 손짓하면은 나 하늘로 돌아가리라. 아름다운 이 세상 소풍 끝내는 날 가서 아름다웠다고 말하리라. Thank you.
Can I steal this one from you, Adriana? Okay. Since I have the microphone in my hands already. Next is Dustin West, who is going to read us another poem by Goethe, Summer, which we'll all be hoping it is soon, very shortly.
Alrighty. Hello and welcome. Today I decided to recite Sommer from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Goethe is considered to be one of the most famous German poets, and he was one of the reasons why I went to him first when I was trying to figure out what to speak for this recital. And I really caught on to his poem because in the beginning he really describes a really beautiful scene. He likes to describe nature, and then it really starts to change into a quite chaotic landscape. But at the end he instills a little bit of hope at the end, saying that despite the fact that things may be chaotic, there's still something to kind of smile about in the end. Alrighty. Der Sommer folgt. Es wachsen Tag und Hitze, und von den Augen plagt uns die Glut. Doch dort am Wasserfall, am Wälzen sitzen, erklingt ein Trunk. Flüstert ein Wort das Blut. Der Donner rot. Schön klunzen sich die Blitze, die holen Wups sich auf zur sicheren Hut. Dem Tosen nachklang schnell ein Klatzen Schmerze, das Liebe lachtet unter Sturm und Wetter. Thank you.
And I was going too fast again. Next we have a poem that's going to be recited in American Sign Language by Tina Mowry. And I will confess that I got a little excited in a very dorky sort of way when I saw the submissions, because Tina didn't recite anything last year, and I'm not sure about the year before that, but I got so used to seeing her here when she wasn't here yet last year, it felt a little strange. So when I saw that she was coming to recite something, I got excited. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll have to kind of look at it afterwards with the video, but there you go.
The poem I chose, normally in the past I've done my own poems, but this year I decided to honor the first recognized deaf poet of American Sign Language poems, and his name is Clayton Valli. He was very much the forerunner for all of the other deaf poems you will ever see. So this is called Dew on a Spiderweb, and I don't have it memorized, sorry, so I'm going to have to stop what I'm doing and look to see where I'm at. So.
The next person is Genevieve Schaller, and she will read a poem by Gabriela Mistral, Dame la mano.
Hello. Gabriela Mistral was born in Chile. The daughter of a poet, she began to write poetry as a village school teacher after a passionate romance with a railway employee who committed suicide. Much of her poetry is simple and direct in language, but full of warmth and emotion. The main themes in her poems are love, maternal love, sterility, nature, sorrow, and recovery. Her lover, Remolio Alrete's suicide in 1909 left deep marks on her writings. Several of Mistral's early poems were written for him. This poem is simple but full of passion. Dame la mano y danzaremos. Dame la mano y miraremos. Amarás. Como una sola flor seremos. Como una flor y nada más. El mismo verso cantaremos, el mismo paso bailarás. Como una espiga ondearemos, como una espiga y nada más. Te llamo Rosa y yo Esperanza, pero tu nombre olvidarás porque seremos una danza en la colina y nada más. Gracias.
Next up, we have a polyglot presenter, Lazenby, who's going to read this poem in French, and then another one a little later in Spanish. Today, she'll be reading for you an excerpt from Rêverie d'un passant d'un roi, which is a poem by Victor Hugo.
So I would really just like to thank Dr. Bibby for not making me do Spanish and French right in a row. I always mess up my R's. I've got Bibby at 1 o'clock and Gordillo at 2 o'clock, so she's very familiar with how I walk into Spanish on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay. Il s'est dit, tant d'effroi, où le monde en est-il? Que font les rois, à qui le trône, à qui l'exil? Qu'il médite aujourd'hui comme un juge suprême, sachant la fin de tout, se croyant en soi-même, assez fort pour tout voir et pour tout épargner, lui qu'on n'exile pas et qui les règne. Merci.
It's a little more difficult for me, but since it's German, I'll keep at it. And Alison Reinhardt is going to read it, and it's Alleingelassen bei Erinnerungen. I hope that worked.
So the poem I am reading today was written by Max Doughtony in roughly 1908. And the interesting thing about most of his work was that it was written while he was traveling the world. None of it was really written in one place where he actually lived. And I chose this poem because it's an excellent representation of his impressionist style and the love of nature often seen in his work. And then the imagery used evokes a mental image of not only of what he's describing, but brings up like my own memories as well, which is what I thought others could relate to. Allein gelassen bei Erinnerungen. Jetzt sitzt der weiße Schlaf vor allen Wintertüren. Die Fenster sind gleich belassen, Eierschalen. Dahinter Lebensstraßen voll Gespenster und Stimmen, die uns ferne Menschen malen. Man kann die Welt nicht sehen und nur spüren. Wie Blinde ahnt man dunkel das Geschehen. Allein gelassen bei Erinnerungen, die an den Türen wie die Bettler stehen, die bei den Ofenflammen vorm sich rühren, erregt mit nimmersatten Hungersonnen. Sie können uns an Mägen Handen führen und haben in der Asche noch nicht ausgesonnen.
And our next presenter is Micaela Reidel, and she's going to read a poem titled El brillo de las estrellas.
Hello, everyone. I chose a small poem by Douglas Wright. He is a children's poet from Argentina, and his poems are constructed with simple words that create imagery. The poem I chose, The Brightness of the Stars, features a wordplay with natural fires, the stars, and artificial fires, which are fireworks. El brillo de las estrellas. Mejor que todos los fuegos que llaman artificiales. El brillo de las estrellas, esos fuegos naturales. Thank you.
And now we're going to listen to Lauren Goth, and her title is Una mujer duerme en una isla.
So my poem is titled A Woman Sleeps on an Island. It's written by Marjorie Agustin. She was a Chilean-American writer, and she's mostly known for bringing awareness to the outspoken women's rights in Chile. I chose this poem because as a kid, I was constantly taking trips to the beach, and as a young girl, I would often fall asleep under the hot sun, which is kind of what this poem talks about. Una mujer duerme en una isla, y de cabello nacen las moradas, de memorias y pájaros salvajes. Su cuerpo es un mascarón de proa, y dicen que desde que durmió en la isla, pareciera haber sido tocada por las lluvias de la demencia, que su pelo florece en los atardeceres junto a la música del mar. Otros dicen que sus párpados dibujan mapas de extrañas geografías, tatuajes salvajes que ella guarda solo en la redondez tenue del sueño. Una mujer duerme en una isla y deja de ser ella misma, libre ahora de la tierra. Navega y bebe la inmensidad del mar. Las semillas llenan su pelo que flota, y ella es una isla rodeada de estrellas.
I apologize. I know I'm a French professor, but I could have caught that little Spanish typo, but I didn't. So that's on me. Next we have Songcho Shin, who's going to read us a very short but I think very lovely poem. And this is one of our other submissions in Korean.
Hi. I think it would take more time for making my comment than reading a poetry, so I go first reading a poem. 너에게 묻는다. 연탄재에 함부로 발로 차지 마라. 너는 누구에게 한 번이라도 뜨거운 사람이었느냐? Yes, it's very simple, and this poem gives a lot of reflection. Simple, but give a lot of reflection. And I saw this poem at the middle school, and I think it was really best poem ever I had, because not simple, but it gives a lot of reflection. And I give my gratitude to remind this poem to my radiator at the dormitory. Thanks.
And next we have Sophia Junk, who's going to read a poem in Norwegian. And I'm probably going to mess up this vowel accent. I'm going to say no Yeah, I wasn't too far off. Yeah. Having the accents helps, even when you can't speak the language fluently. So I'm going to turn it over to Sophia, though. She'll do a much better job with it.
Actually, I chose this poem because Norwegian is my fourth language, and I figured everyone here probably doesn't know Norwegian, so I'd be lucky enough to not be criticized for my accent. And I think I lucked out. I didn't see any other Norwegian poems. This poem is written by Rolf Jacobsen, and he is known for bringing modernism to Norway. And the poem, I think, is better read silently because it kind of gives you this feeling of anxiety. But I'll try my best to say it out loud. So, Nå av Rolf Jacobsen. Nå er nå. Nå du leser dette før du glemmer det igjen. Nå. Går stykker av evigheten til tusendedelen av et sekund gjennom hendene dine, gjennom øyet, som snefnug trønda perler. Pil i luften før det rammer spydodden av alt som var, og aldri er hendt før. Nå. Er du alt blitt eldre siden første linje? Nå er en fallende foss et klappende hjerte. Nå kom en sky foran solen. Nå fløy fuglene bort. Og nå har du alt glemt det. Og nå har du alt glemt det. Bla om deg, eller flytt på deg.
I'll do, oh, Colin can't? Oh, and look, I was going to give it a whirl and try this one in German just so not that Adriana wouldn't be the only one on the hot seat. So, so that's unfortunate. Oh, and Colin, he's studying French and German, and I think that Dr. Kramer and I agree he's doing very, very well in terms of his work in both. So it's too bad he can't be here. So we'll move on to the next one. And yes. So this is Rebecca White, and I'm going to let you say that because I'm going to mess up that A.
Since this is Portuguese and I'm taking Portuguese next semester, I'm gonna venture Canção do Exílio.
Canção.
Canção do Exílio.
Hi, my name's Rebecca White. And this poem is one of the most famous poems in Brazilian literature by Gonçalves Dias. And it was written while he was in Portugal studying to be a lawyer. And it speaks of the love one has for their home country. And I chose this poem because I was born in Brazil, although I haven't lived there in many, many years. And Brazil will always be a part of me. So in English, again, the title is Song of Exile. Canção do Exílio, escrito por Gonçalves Dias. Minha terra tem palmeiras onde canta o sabiá. As aves que aqui gorjeiam, não gorjeiam como lá. Nosso céu tem mais estrelas, nossas vargens têm mais flores. Nossos bosques têm mais vida, nossa vida mais amores. Em cismar, sozinho à noite, mais prazer eu encontro lá. Minha terra tem palmeiras, onde canta o sabiá. Minha terra tem primores, que tais não encontro eu cá. Em cismar sozinho à noite, mais prazer eu encontro lá. Minha terra tem palmeiras, onde canta o sabiá. Não permita, Deus, que eu morra, sem que eu volte para lá, sem que eu desfrute os primores que não encontro por cá, sem que avista as palmeiras, onde canta o sabiá. De primeiros cantos, 1847. Obrigada.
Okay, so now we have Anna-Marie Figert, and her poem, as you might have guessed, is in German.
Das Schlüsselloch.
Hello. So my poem today is Das Schlüsselloch. It is also written by Joachim Ringelnatz. We've heard one of his poems today too, that's Die Briefmarke, I think it was. So I chose this poem for similar reasons as before too. I liked his lighthearted way of writing poems, and they're kind of comical and funny too. And he also was actually born in Saxony, which is the part of Germany where my family's from. So that's why I chose this poem. Okay, das Schlüsselloch. Das Schlüsselloch, das im Haupttor saß, erlaubte sich nachts einen Spaß. Es nahten Studenten mit Schlüsseln in Händen. Da dachte das listige Schlüsselloch, ich will mich verstecken, um sie zu necken. Worauf es sich wirklich seitwärts verkroch. Alsbald nun tasteten die Studenten, suchend, fluchend, mit Händen an Wänden. Und weil sie nichts fanden, zogen sie weiter. Das Schlüsselloch lachte heiter. Die Herren erreichten ihr Zimmer nimmer. Eigentlich war die Sache noch schlimmer. Ich selbst war nämlich bei den Studenten. Doch lassen wir es dabei bewenden. Danke.
Okay, and now assuming that she's completely sort of evacuated all of the French remnants from her pronunciation, we're going to call Sarah Lazenby back up, and she's going to read a poem by Pablo Neruda, Silencio.
Yo que crecí dentro de un árbol, tendría mucho que decir, pero aprendí tanto silencio que tengo mucho que callar, y eso se conoce creciendo, sin otro goce que crecer, sin más pasión que la substancia, sin más acción que la inocencia, y por dentro el tiempo dorado, hasta que la altura lo llama para convertirlo en naranja. Gracias.
Not this one either. The ones in German that I'm most excited about are not. I mean, not that I haven't enjoyed the others. They're also lovely, but it's Dr. Kramer who got what's that? Oh no, it was that it's because Dr. Kramer read. Was it this same poem last year? Yeah, I thought so. She read the same poem at last year's poetry recital, and so I was excited to hear it again because the story of the poet who wrote this poem is amazing. So I was looking forward to this being shared, not just the poem, but the story of the poet. So it will have to be for another time. If you have a chance, take a look at the poetry by May Ayim. If you would, that'd be wonderful. Oh, yay! All right. Yeah, well, she can tell the story by memory, so. All right, so Dr. Kramer is going to read us, oh, now I have to take my glasses off. Grenzenlos und unverschämt.
Grenzenlos und unverschämt. And Natalie Alia-Munem was supposed to read this today, but there is a very serious family emergency, so she couldn't be here. Had taught this poem in the class, and clearly it was speaking to her as well. The poet Maya, you know what? That's how we're gonna do this. The poet Maya Yim is an Afro-German poet, and she had a African Kenyan father and a German mother, and felt always to be on the fringes in German society, because German society usually defines itself through whiteness. And when Natalie submitted this image, I always thought that's part of how we were talking about the poem, because as you see, this is a frame, and the poem will address the idea how my Ayim is going to the fringes, or how she moves within society or beyond society. Basically, it's a liberation of things. Okay, now it goes. Grenzenlos und unverschämt. Ich werde trotzdem afrikanisch sein, auch wenn ihr mich gerne deutsch haben wollt. Und werde trotzdem deutsch sein, auch wenn euch, sorry guys, meine Schwärze nicht passt. Ich werde noch einen Schritt weitergehen, bis an den äußersten Rand, wo meine Schwestern und wo meine Brüder stehen, wo unsere Freiheit beginnt. Und ich werde noch einen Schritt weitergehen und noch einen Schritt und weiter und wiederkehren, wann ich will, wenn ich will, grenzenlos und unverschämt bleiben. Thank you. Danke.
And now we have Alan Hernandez Reatiga, and he will read a beautiful poem entitled Tristes Guerras.
My name is Alan Hernandez. I decided to read a poem by Miguel Hernandez, a Spanish poet. This poem is about the Spanish Civil War in 1936 to 1939. And I thought this was a really cool poem. I mean, it's very short, yet it describes a lot more than what it's just saying. Tristes guerras, si no es el amor la empresa, tristes, tristes. Tristes armas, si no son las palabras, tristes, tristes. Tristes hombres, si no mueren de amores, tristes, tristes.
Next we have Keisha Johnson. Is she here? Oh yeah, she is. And this is another one of our original poems. This one in German, Nie wieder, if I pronounced that all right. Yes, hopefully. Maybe I'm up for my B- of earlier, so.
So I wrote this poem for my class. We were given a couple prompts, and the one that stuck the most with me was Nie wieder. It stuck with me because I thought about, it means never again in English. And I thought about how I'm about to graduate soon, and how all the things in my childhood that I will never do again, or it'll never be the first time that I will do it again. And so I just kind of wrote it down. Nie wieder. Nie wieder werde ich geboren. Nie wieder werde ich mein erstes aufgestaubtes Genie haben. Nie wieder werde ich ein Alphabet sein. Nie wieder werde ich ein Kind sein. Nie wieder werde ich meinen ersten Freund haben. Nie wieder werde ich zu meinem ersten Begräbnis gehen. Nie wieder werde ich meinen ersten Herzschmerz haben. Nie wieder werde ich die Mittelschule graduieren. Nie wieder werde ich meine erste Fahrstunde haben. Nie wieder werde ich meinen ersten Kuss haben. Nie wieder werde ich die Oberschule graduieren. Nie wieder werde ich Hausarrest bekommen. Nie wieder werde ich nichts sorgen vor mir. Nie wieder werde ich streitfrei sein. Nie wieder werde ich von der Universität graduieren. Nie werde ich aufhören, älter zu werden. Danke.
Sorry, we had trouble finding the microphone there. It gets lost in the cushions here. So next we'll have Anthony Smith. I believe would you prefer Tony?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I understood. Somebody referred to you as Tony. So Tony Smith, who's going to read us the poem El Niño y la Mariposa.
So El Niño y la Mariposa is a children's poem written by Colombian author Rafael Pombo in the 1800s. I guess I gotta get closer. It was recommended to me by Dr. Gordillo. It's kind of similar to, because one of my favorite American poets is Shel Silverstein. So this has sort of a rhyming scheme and musicality and stuff. To my classmates, if you see my translation, obviously it's not very direct, because in doing this, it's kind of fun to learn how to do translating, where you can choose to do it very literally, or you can choose to try and maintain concepts like rhyming and just meaning of the different stanzas. So that was what I aimed to do. And then with this one, the picture I got is actually from a Colombian visual artist, because Rafael Pombo was a Colombian in the 1800s. So I sent an email to Jose Rosero, who is a Colombian visual artist, and I got his permission to use this art, which has been used in a collection with this specific poem before, so it's pretty cool. So this is El Niño y la Mariposa. Mariposa, vaga rosa, rica en tinte y en el donaire, ¿qué haces tú de rosa en rosa? ¿De qué vives en el aire? Yo de flores y de olores y de espumas de la fuente y del sol resplandeciente que me viste de colores. Me regalas tus dos alas, son tan lindas, te las pido. Deja que orne mi vestido con la pompa de tus galas. Tú, niñito, tan bonito, tú que tienes tanto traje, ¿por qué quieres un ropaje que me ha dado Dios bendito? ¿De qué alitas necesitas si no vuelas cual yo vuelo? ¿Qué me resta bajo el cielo si me todo me lo quitas? Días sin cuento de contento, el Señor a ti me envía. Mas mi vida es un solo día, no me lo hagas de tormento. ¿Te divierte dar la muerte a una pobre mariposa? Ay, quizás sobre una rosa me hallarás muy pronto inerte. Oyó el niño con cariño esta queja de amargura, y una gota de miel pura le ofreció con dulce guiño. Ella, ansiosa, vuela y posa en su palma sonrosada, y allí mismo ya saqueada, y de gozo temblorosa, expiró la mariposa.
And our next poem is our lone poem in Dakota this time. I'm very happy that Megan decided to read a poem. At first I was worried that one of the students was not going to submit a poem, and I had gone in to talk it up to Glenn's class, and so I was happy that someone did submit a poem. So I'm looking forward to hearing this, and enjoy.
Hello, I'm glad to be here. I'm a student in Glenn Washichuna's class, and it is very important for him in our class that the Dakota words and thoughts are our own, and they aren't words that he puts in our mouth. So when I was thinking of the poem that I wrote, I thought, yes, those are the words from myself. Those are my own words and my own thoughts. But it's his Dakota values that he taught us, and his lessons and teachings that put those words in my heart. So this is the poem today. Dakota iapiki, iakipa yake. Dakota iapiki ni, tokera iayeshni, taka iakipe. Dakota maka sitomini, iakipe, tateki ed. Minnesota ateya a maka sitomini sampa. Wakpa ed ihaha, badote hehaya. Maka ed nahumpi, wakantipi ed. Dakota oheya wahi ed I je e. Dakota iapiki, oyateki, chante ed ka a wachipi ed, chanjega ed nayahunkete. Dakota iapiki, nahumpichi, wayawatipi ed a tankar shkatapiachan. Dakota iapiki, okorakichia, iha wohada kapichi. A tia wahe owas wota pikiha ija opekte. Dakota iapi
wakane jikahi, toka hea, wohede kapichi. Dakota iapiki cheapichi. Dakota iapiki owas iaonki papi.
Our next presenter is Kyle Welch, and yay, German. He is going to read a poem by Ernst Neubach entitled Im Himmel gibt's kein Bier. Ooh, that sounds awesome.
I am doing, what is it called? Im Himmel gibt's kein Bier by Ernst Neubach. He wrote it in 1956, and it was interesting. He was born almost with the start of the 20th century, so it was 3 days after New Year's. And because of that, he was actually able to serve in both of the world wars. The second one was quite interesting as he was of Jewish descent, but he never actually got taken away by the Nazis. And as for why I decided to go with this song, I was actually intending to go with a different song, but that song was written for 2 parts, so can't really do that with one voice. But I still wanted to do something which I could find enjoyable instead of just going off and looking up something that was just something to recite. And maybe it resonates too much with me for the type of song that it is, but as long as you're doing things in moderation, it's perfectly fine and pretty enjoyable. And as for the translations, I could not for the life of me find any translation except for the refrain, so I had to translate things as best I could for the verses. Okay, hopefully it sounds good.
The next poem we have is our final poem in Korean, I believe, for today. I don't think there are any more after this. And Jungwoo Shin is going to read us a poem about that precipitation that we all love to hate. Not here? No? Oh. Yeah, this is a nice poem too. Well, I can't remember if this was one of the students who needed to present after I think there might have been someone who needed to present after 3:15. I know that one of my students who's reading in a few presenters here needs to present after 3:25, so it's going to be cutting it a little close for her. But we'll just skip over and go to the next poem in the list and then go back to the other ones after that if need be. The next poem is Demain de l'Aube by Victor Hugo, and it's going to be read by Lydia Bodnar. Is Lydia here? Right here. Oh, they are, okay. Yes, okay. And strangely enough, you might notice that in the list of poems, all except for one of the French poems that were submitted by the students are Victor Hugo poems. This was not of my doing. I like Victor Hugo, but I did not force people to do Victor Hugo poems. They just happened to choose them. So, oh, there are a lot. Édouard Glissant, the one I'm going to read, Édouard Glissant, Jacques Prévert. So yeah, I'll keep going. Oh yeah, no, I see where you're coming from. Okay, so I'll stop yapping, and you'd much rather listen to Lydia. So here's Lydia.
Demandez-le à l'air ou blanchi, à la campagne. J'y partirai, vois-tu, je sais que tu m'entends. J'irai par la forêt, j'irai par la montagne. Je ne puis demeurer loin de toi plus longtemps. Je marcherai les yeux fixés sur mes pensées, sans rien voir au dehors, sans entendre aucun bruit. Ce est connu. Les dos courbés, les mains croisées, triste, et le jour pour moi sera comme la nuit. Je ne regardais ni l'heure du soir qui tombe, ni les voix allons descendre vers la fleur. Et quand j'arriverai, je mettrai sur ta tombe un bouquet de roses verts et des bruyères en fleurs.
Okay, we were fighting over who gets the honor of trying to pronounce. Oh, I went back? That's strange. There we go. We were fighting over the honor of who gets to read the next title, but I think I'm just going to let the person who is reading it read the title, and this is Alexander Johnson.
So I chose the poem Jeg velger meg april by Bjørnstjerne Bjørnson. He is the National Poet Laureate of Norway, and he wrote this poem in the 1880s. Kind of a good thing to remember about this is even though we are about to head into winter and a lot of our poems seem to have had that theme of winter, it will end, and I think that it's important as an element of this poem to remember that every winter and every dark time eventually fades away and goes into a nice spring after the fact. Jeg velger meg april. I den det gamle faller, i den det ny får feste, det volder litt rabalder, da fred ei det beste. Men at man nu vil, jeg velger meg april. Fordi den stormer, feirer, fordi den smiler, smelter, fordi den evner, eier, fordi den krefter velter. I den blir sommeren til.
I just had a great idea. There was a student who came in who had just decided he wanted to read a poem today. Are you still here? You spoke to me before we got started. Yay, come on up. It's open for you because we're waiting for the person who, one of my students who is not going to be here until about 3:25. So we've got time, and you can come and read your poem, and then if I need to, I'll read mine, and then she should be here. So I won't be able to do an introduction because I don't have the information, so I'm going to leave that up to you. Okay. And we'll just leave this slide up here, although it's not the right poem.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ayush, and the poem I'm going to tell you today was written by Mahakavi Lakshmi Prasad Dipkota. I chose this poem because I believe the message we're going to get from the poem helps us to make our world a better place to live. My poem is something like this. मानिस ठुलो दिलले हुन्छ जातले हुँदैन छेत्रीको छोरो यो पाउ छिन्छ घृणाले छुँदैन. Which means some says Hinduism is great, some says Christianity is great, some says Islam is great, but deep down in our heart we know humanity is great. Thank you.
Emily McDonald, are you here yet? Oh, you are here. Yay. Talking about you, and you're here this whole time. So, okay, well, we'll let Ellie read her poem then. She is here. Ellie is going to read us a poem entitled Nuit de Juin. So this will kind of build off of the idea that April will come, and she is going to reassure us now that full-on summer will be back before you know it. And as you can see, this is another poem by Victor Hugo. Again, Ellie can attest to the fact that she was not forced to read Victor Hugo.
Hello, I'm very nervous as you can tell, but I chose this poem because when I moved here from Texas, I found out that it was so cold. And I really miss the weather back home, and my parents have been teasing me about how it's 80 degrees there right now. So I really miss the, spring, summer weather that they're having, even though it's the winter. Okay. L'été, lorsque le jour a fui, des fleurs couvertes, la plaine verse au loin à parfum enivrant. Les yeux fermés, l'oreille au rumeur entrouverte. On ne dort qu'endormi d'un sommeil transparent. Les astres sont plus purs, l'ombre paraît meilleure. En vague demi-jour tend les dômes éternels, et l'aube douce et pâle. En attendant son heure, semble toute la nuit errer au bas du ciel. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Let's see, I can't remember, I'm gonna have to go back and see. Has anyone come in, anyone who's in the room right now who has come in within the last 15 or 20 minutes who was planning to read a poem? Because we did skip over some people. I can go back and call names, but if you were intending to read, no. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and, what's that? Oh, were you, what is your name? Oh, okay, go ahead and come on up then. Okay, we'll just get this. Oh, all right, this is another one of our surprise registrations from today, so it won't be on your list, judges. So I was hoping to catch the people who may not have gotten here in time to read their scheduled poem, but yes, we have time, so I'm more than happy. You can go ahead and read, and that gives me a little bit more time to chew my nails and get ready to read my poem. So you can go ahead, and I'll let you introduce yours. Just be sure to get close enough to the mic so we can hear.
Hi everyone, I'm Sneha. I'm reading a poet by Balkrishna Sama. He's a Nepali poet, and it's in English, so don't worry about it. It goes like this. When I want a safe, full dream, I write poetry. And when I want a dream like shape, I paint. When I want you to speak to me, I write poetry. And so my love, my eyes is your painting, and my heart, your poem. Thank you.
All right. Well, we've come to the end of our program for today, almost. I'm going to read a poem, although it's much shorter than the one I read last year. Last year, I went a little overboard and didn't follow my own suggestions to students to not read poems that are too long, but I was teaching French Canadian literature, Québécois literature that semester, and so it was the perfect time to do a poem by someone from Quebec, and so I did it, but it's a long, kind of very angry, politically engaged poem. This one that I'm going to read today is also, I guess you could call it something of a politically engaged poem, although more in the environmental sense of engagement. It was written by the Martinican poet Edouard Glissant, who passed away not too many years ago, and whom I had in one of my very first classes when I started graduate school at LSU in Baton Rouge. So I have somewhat of a personal connection to him. I did not know him extremely well, but I did get to eat paella at his house one evening. So that was a big thrill for a newly minted graduate student. So that was a lot of fun. This is a poem that he wrote in one of his last collections before he died, and it's entitled Le Maître, or The Master. J'ai brûlé des sapins qui ne voulaient rien faire, et pas même un instant regarder leur ravin. So now is a commentary that comes after that. Ainsi parlait quelqu'un qui se donnait pouvoir sur les sapins et sur le feu. Celui qui croit savoir ce qu'un sapin refuse ou veut. Thank you. Thank you again, everyone, for attending. And if we could just give one more round of applause to everyone who presented, to the faculty members, my colleagues in the Department of World Languages and Cultures who gave their time to judge. And to Dr. Adriana Gordillo, who helped me host today, although she didn't realize she was going to do that. And thank you also to our department administrative assistant, Teresa Dickey, who makes so much of this and so much of everything else happen in our department. I don't know what we would do without her. So. And thanks to the hard work of the tech crew here, we will be sharing some excerpts from the Poetry Recital this year online. And probably we'll be able to share the whole thing with you if you really want to relive the entire experience, or share it with your family in case they weren't able to be here to see you read your poem. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you next year. Don't forget to help yourself to whatever snacks are left out in the hallway.